She said, in crazy times, you know what we need to do? Do you know what we need to do? We need to stick together and stand up for each other. Do you know what I'm saying? When people in this world just are not thinking, what time is it?
It's time to stick together and stand up for each other.
And you know what else? When a few people are trying to stir up hatred and meanness and cruelty, what time is it?
It's time to stick together and stand up for each other.
And when people don't show respect for one another, when people don't respect differences, do you know what time it is?
It's time to stick together and stand up for each other.
Well, that is the truth, my friends. My name is Vashti, and I have a story to tell, and I will not be silent any longer. You know, I used to live in Shushan, the gem of Persia, and I used to love it here. You know, King Ahasuerus and I, back when we were dating, he was so sweet. Put noisemakers down. Everybody put the noisemakers down for now. He was so gentle and sweet. He was such a good listener. We'd go for long walks, and we talk about everything. You know, our science experiments and our dreams, and we'd argue about politics, like the good kind of arguing, where we'd really get each other thinking. It was so great. But you know what? Ever since his kingdom expanded to 127 provinces, from India to Ethiopia, well, all he wants to do anymore is show off his wealth to all his buddies and tweet about it. And he's drunk and he's rude all the time. Well, let me tell you something. It was the 3rd year of his reign. Can I see your 3? 3rd year of his reign, which is a big deal. And he decided he wanted to celebrate. So I understand that. You want to throw a party, have a special celebration, right? Does anyone have a celebration for your birthday here?
Of course.
Good. Well, that makes sense. But you know what he did? He had a party for 180 days. And everyone was drinking and eating and drinking and eating. And then you know when that was done? He had another party for 7 days. And everybody was eating and drinking and eating and drinking and becoming more and more rude. They were really rude. There was a lot of farting. Anyway, I was having my own party with my friends, and an officer came over to me from the king, and the officer said,
Queen Vashti, the king is showing off all his beautiful possessions. So, he would like to show off you, all his guests. You are to come before the king and all his drunk guests wearing the royal crown and dance for them. Come display your beauty.
What? A possession? Display my beauty? Dance for them? Oh no. Can I have some oh no's?
Oh,
no. I don't think so. I think I know what time it is. It's time to stick together and stand up for each other. Time to stick together and stand up for each other. Time to stick together and stand up for each other. Who is with me?
I am. Me too. Me too.
Hashtag me too.
Me too.
Hashtag me too. And we are
Out of here.
Woo! Well, this made the king. Oh, let's put the noisemakers down. It's coming soon, though. Be careful. Here it is. Well, this made the king so angry. His ridiculous advisors told him to send an edict throughout the kingdom declaring that from now on, get this, all wives must do whatever their husbands say. What? I bet that's working really well. Well, I certainly did not go back to the palace. Would you? Would you? No way. Well, it didn't take long for King Ahasuerus to miss me and to wish I was back in the palace. But he still didn't get it. He thought I was just a pretty face. Well, his ridiculous advisors told him to gather all the pretty girls so he could choose the next queen. Well, if anybody knows anything, they know that to be a queen takes intelligence, diplomacy, skill, cultural sensitivity, and a fabulous sense of humor. So sure, Ahasuerus, choose a pretty girl. Well, wow, sexism really confuses people, doesn't it? Yeah, can I see some nodding heads? Yeah, we know what he's talking about. Well, anyway, that's when my friend Esther came along. I bet you didn't know that we actually know each other. Well, they left that detail out of the Megillah. But when I left as queen, I left a note in the queen's chambers. And it said, "Sister, we have to stick together and stand up for each other. Here's my phone number. If you need me, call me." But just before Esther went into the palace, her uncle Mordecai warned her.
Esther, dear Esther, I don't think it's a good idea to tell anyone in the palace that you're a Jew.
Uncle Mordecai, I know that systemic oppressions are interwoven and feed off each other to uphold the imperialistic, capitalistic patriarchy. Ha! Charlottesville was a chilling reminder of the intersectionality of gender oppression, anti-Semitism, and racism. Duh! Don't worry, Uncle. I'll keep my Jewishness in the closet for now.
Esther, you are so fabulous. Oh, and would you tell Ahasuerus that his two guards, Bigtan and Teresh, are plotting to kill him? He might want to do something about that. And it would be great if he'd write about me saving him in his book of remembrances. It could come in handy one day. I have a feeling it's going to be really important. Thanks, and remember, I'm with ya. We're going to stick together.
And stand up for each other!
Yeah. Well, let me tell you what happened next. You might not be able to relate to this, but sometimes there are leaders who do something that are pretty stupid and self-interested, and just when you think they couldn't possibly do something more ridiculous, they go even further and do something worse. I know you can't relate to it, but here's what happened. Back at the palace, Ahasuerus appointed a new prime minister. Get your horns ready. He was a power-hungry, pompous potato head named Haman! And Haman required that everyone bow down to him. Well, mortified, the Jew refused, explaining that Jews don't bow down to other people. We're all equal. We're here to stick together and stand up for each other. Jews can be so countercultural. Well, Haman was so enraged, so he convinced the king to let him kill all the Jews. Hello, is anybody thinking? And the king agreed. He sent edicts throughout the whole kingdom that on the 13th day of the month of Adar, the Jews would be erased. Oy vey. Well, Mordecai sent word to Esther that she has to convince the king to change this law.
But Mordecai, no one is allowed to go to the king unless he summons you. It has been many long nights since I've been summoned. It would mean risking my life.
Esther, maybe that's exactly why you're in the palace. To save the Jews. It is time to call up your courage and step forward.
Okay, I'll do it. Get all the Jews to fast for 3 days to pray for me and stand with me. And if I die, I die.
It's
Time to stick together and stand up for each other.
So, this is a bit of a tricky situation. The system does not work in Esther's favor. You can't just point the finger at someone with power and announce that they're dangerous and are up up to no good. Well, not back then. No one would believe Esther. So Esther and I had a little strategic conversation, one woman to another. Check this out. She put on her fancy clothes, her best jumpsuit, perfume, and a boa, and walked around the inner court until the king noticed her. He took one look at her, and kapow! She won his favor. He agreed to do anything she asked. So she invited the king to an intimate little banquet for just the kingy wingy and the queenie weenie and Haman. Well, the three of them got together, and they ate, and they drank, and they laughed, and Ahasuerus said, "Oh, my dearest Queen Esther, what is your wish? I'll give you half the kingdom." And Esther said,
Oh, you big, strong Ahasuerus. How about we have another banquet tomorrow? Just the kingy wingy and the queenie weenie. And Haman.
well, Haman he left so happy and feeling so special, but then he saw Mordecai in the street who still wouldn't bow down to him, and it upset him so much. He built a gallows 50 feet high to hang him on. It's a troubled person who feels better after building a gallows. Well, that very night, when the king couldn't fall asleep because he was so excited to see Esther again, he called on his official to read from the book of remembrances. And then he remembered that Mordecai had saved his life, but he never gave Mordecai a reward. So, because the king has trouble thinking for himself, he looked around and saw in the courtyard was Haman. And he asked him, "I have a question. How should I reward someone I appreciate?" Well, Haman and you have to stop right away. Good. He was such a show-off, and he thought that the king was obviously talking about him. So he said, that person should be dressed in royal garb and should ride on a royal horse. And the person leading the horse should declare, "Kach ya'aseh la'ish, asher hamelech hafetz bikaro." This is what should be done to one whom the king appreciates. So Ahasuerus said, I love this part. "Great idea, Haman. Do that to Mordecai." Oh, Mordecai's a good guy. Yay! Well, hold on, here it comes again, 1 second. You know who got really angry? Haman! So, he was so mad, steam was coming out of his ears. Can you imagine hating somebody so much and feeding that ugly feeling inside that when somebody asks you to do something nice, it's so hard? Well, ha-ha on him. So now, here they are at the second banquet. King Ahasuerus, beautiful Queen Esther, and Haman. So there was more eating and more drinking, and Esther knew that she had to play it smart. She had to work her charm to get Ahasuerus just where she wanted him, knowing that the lives of her whole people were weighed in the balance.
Oh, King, you're so funny. Stop it. Oh, you're hilarious. Did I mention how fabulous you look in your royal garb? And your kingdom is so big.
I know it's a ridiculous stereotype. I know. But sometimes in this world you have to work the system to nahafoku, turn the system upside down. So the king was putty in Esther's hand, and he asked, my dear sweet Esther, what is it that you want?
An edict has been issued to destroy and massacre and exterminate my people. If we'd just been sold into slavery, I wouldn't even bother you. But all my people will be killed, and I too, and all this will be destroyed.
Well, right then, Ahasuerus yelled out, who dares to do such a thing? Esther stood up, gathered all her courage. I think I need everybody to stand up to help her gather up her courage. And she pointed a finger at Haman! Let's sit back down. Let's sit back down. The king was so mad, he left the feast. The evil Haman threw himself at Esther's feet and pleaded for his life just as the king walked in. The king looked at the scene and yelled out, are you trying to get with my wife as well? That's it for you! And up he went on the gallows. Da! And here we are, celebrating. What was a moment of fear for the Jews became a moment of celebration. And we're going to chant just a little bit from the Megillah. So let's chant. There are 3 blessings, 3 brachot for hearing Megillah. Let's all stand up. Everyone stand up and put down the horns. Horns are down. No more horn blowing. So this bracha, this blessing ends with Al Mikra Megillah. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al Mikra Megillah, for the mitzvah of hearing the Megillah. And we have the bracha that we say on Hanukkah as well as Purim. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavotenu bayamim hahem bazman hazeh, creating miracles way back in the past and right here in the present. And the bracha for something new and being alive for this moment. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'hikianu lazman hazeh. Please have a seat. I need everyone's attention. We're going to hear just a bit of the actual Megillah with no horns. And doesn't it look like a Torah? It's amazing. This was also scribed by a scribe. And I'm using my special Purim pointer, a rubber chicken. Mordechai yatsa milifnei hamelech bilevush malchut tchelet v'chul. And Mordechai was appointed the new prime minister, and he came out before the king dressed in royal clothing. V'ateret zahav gedolah, and a golden crown. No horns, please. V'tachlit botz ve'al gaman, va'ir Shushan zahala v'samecha, and the whole city of Shushan was filled with joy and delight. Vayet laYehudim hayta ora v'simcha v'sason ve'ikar, and for the whole people of Shushan there was joy and laughter And so we give matanot la'evyonim, gifts to the poor, and we give mishloach manot to one another. And always remember that what do we need to do? We've got to stick together and stand up for each other. It's time to stick together and stand up for each other. Huh. It's time to stick together and stand up for each other. Huh. Happy Purim, everyone! So, a few announcements without the horns. First of all, thank you to all the teachers and assistants for all their wonderful roles, and Esther and Mordecai for your wonderful acting, and all our gang. A big thank you to Camp Gesher and Shaul. Are they still here? Yay! Thank you. They hosted our pizza dinner. And if you want to find out about Camp Gesher, please be in touch with them. I would like to know, all board members, would you wave your hands? We have a board member right here and right here, Tammy. Anyone from the Member Engagement Committee, stand up and wave. So please introduce yourselves to these wonderful people. Also, there are a lot of exciting programs coming up. One that all families should know about is, it's only 30 days till Pesach. But we are having a How to Make Matzah workshop. Cool. It will be on Sunday, the 25th of March at 1:30 at the Brickworks. And there is a fabulous new committee for family programming. If you're on the committee, would you stand up? Yay! Thank you. In just a moment, we're going to transition to various activities. There are stations that are going to be around the room. Adults can be with your children if you'd like, or come to an adult learning session, very adult, if you know what I mean, in the other room, in the Herndale room. Sabrina's laugh is so good. And I want to remind us that another mitzvah of Purim is giving money to the poor. So we're gathering cash in the jar over there, and it will be donated today to help end poverty. So thank you all very much. Purim Sameach. And any of the adults coming to the adult learning session, please bring a chair with you. Chag Sameach. Yay!